everything that you do has a manual. There's no manual for parenting. You buy this fridge, there's a manual on how to operate. You buy a TV, there's a manual, but no manual for parenting. So you need to figure it out.
This is the Dr. Tlaleng Cooking Show.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm now thinking of all of you and the different ways in which you are caregivers and the different young people that are children that you take care of. And I'm starting to wonder, who is in your parenting village? Like, who are these people? Who is the source that anchor you in your parenting village, Naledi?
So I have this aura. Yabantu abadala. I'm a traditional healer also. So I grew up loving old people. I have friends that are very old.
That's why unrata, because I'm
So I would just go and sit and listen and ask questions. And I was also always curious with my friends' mothers. I wanted them to be my mothers. So I would always go ask questions, and they instilled. I had lack of. Sharp. You know, they were well educated and very strong-willed with what she just said, very disciplined. So I had friends that have that disciplined background. So I would always want to be the child. Discipline. So I think that's why I took it.
Wonderful. Who's in your parenting village?
You know, Tlaleng, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but when I came out as a lesbian, my mother was very against it, right? And I was married before, and then when I divorced my husband, my mother said, a home without a father, children don't behave, right? And they don't come right. But I realized that the gay friends that I have, the Bradleys, the Funnies, and the Ntlantlas, are actually bringing a father figure in my house. I don't need to have a man so that my kids can see the wonderful people that are out there in the world. So those people are the ones that have actually showed love. You know, I call them Abu Malum. Even my 35-year-olds say Malume. Yes, so those are the people that have brought love and brought a sense of role models, you know, to my kids. I mean, my 35-year-old who is almost age of some of the Abu Malume says in full and say Malume, you know, because of how they have supported the family. And also the women that I work with in the organization, they are the strong women that always, you know, give strength and love and that support for we give each other that support so that we can be able to provide. And some of them are old-fashioned, and I always have to bring it back. Say please when you ask for something from a child, because you are teaching the child to say please. No, let allow man's lap. No, can you say please? May you please bring me the water? The language that we use, it's the language that they will learn.
Bradley, who's in your parenting village?
So because I don't have my own biological kids at this stage, but I am that parenting figure for many. So with the patients I work with, I mean, I've seen, you know, women and men go from being single, struggling to find someone, to then falling pregnant, having kids, you know, having kids on their own. And then also just in my community, I think like my grandfather, I really channel this sort of like caregiver to the community, and I'm really magical with kids as well. So sometimes I would just visit friends, and randomly the kids would be there, and then we would just have an interaction that would just change things. And they're like, "How did you get to do that?" And I was like, "I wasn't planning anything. It's just what happened." So I think I'm the male embodiment of Mary Poppins. So yeah,
nice, thank you. And Mahlodi?
With me, I can say it's my mom. My mom divorced my dad. I was hardly 6 years old, and she was a single mom. And one thing she always told me was like, do your best with whatever you have. I was 10 years old when my brother was born. Then I have to take care of him because my mom was also a nurse working shifts. So I'll be carrying him, on my back. And this other lady, as someone like, is that her child? Because the way, wherever you see me, you see him, even now. Wow. So I think my mom and we grew up in a location whereby there were elders. You would say, so, nonsense is nonsense. They don't kill my mama. You do nonsense, you get a clap just there. So even if my mother was not around most of the time, but I got I got the discipline, I got the support. And time they say, okay, bring your little brother along so they can go and play with other kids. Such supportive thing. So with me, within the community I'm in, I'd like to see parents having time with their kids, playing with their kids. That's why even in our organization we do have play therapy, psychotherapy. Even at work, you can be with them and know that you must say please and thank you. Yes, you're all that. So with me, the main anchor has been my mom. Even now, even today, like when I told
Lucky she's still alive. We miss our mothers. May they are so rest in peace.
She's always there. She might also things doesn't understand. We buy her cell phone, then they taught her to do WhatsApp, then she WhatsApps everybody.
Wow.
So my mom and my brother, and God being good, I've married to a very humble man, and he's very supportive.
It takes a village.
I know.
But it also takes a village to get all of us around this table, And often we take it for granted, the kind of support that we require to be able to do this work long term. And I just want to ask you guys just one thing, because I think it's both political but very personal as well. This protection and being vanguards of Black children's joy, specifically Black children's joy, right, and their innocence, and how do we become those people?
It's $1 million question.
But I'm going to start with the most basic anchor, which is necessary, which is we need to be more vigilant, more conscious, more aware of creating safe spaces. Now, a safe space does not have to be a fancy house or the best of this. It is just a space in which a child can develop, knowing that things are consistent, reliable, predictable, and there are good boundaries. None of those require money, actually. And too often we fall into the trap of the belief that I can raise my kids better if I make more money. And then by the time you make more money, your kids are grown and you've already set a blueprint for the next generation. So for me, it's around creating this safe environment in the way that I've mentioned it. That must be the focus. Everything else will then be almost accessorized add-ons, right? And then just a quick one I want to throw into the mix, which came from the different, who are the people that are holding parenting in your space. There's another parent that is also on the rise, and I think too many parents don't pay enough attention to it. It's the rise of the electronic parent.
That's true.
Many of the sort of developing upper class, because we're so busy working, we actually don't have time to spend quality time with our parents.
We're defaulting to get
you want another iPhone? Okay, we'll get that one. Do you want a PlayStation? And that's the piece that I see very often in my role as communal parent. I say to the kids, no, what are you playing? And they get them onto okay, good. But let's take the dog for a walk. Come with me. And then I create this make-believe world about, this and that. And they love it.
Yeah.
And
because I'm not raising my kids, my mother is raising my kids. I'm the virtual mom. So I'm like, give me those gadgets now. So we can FaceTime.
Yes.
Give me those gadgets.
You're using them in a different way.
It's different. Like, you know what the young parents are saying? We don't have time. Just give them the phone.
Yes.
And when the child wants your attention, this is what some of the mothers that I work with, one of them raised in one of the sessions where we were talking about understanding queerness of our own children. the mother said, let us make a rule that when we go on a table for dinner, no phones. So that we listen, we look at each other's eyes. Because so when you can see that these eyes are not good, right? Then that's when you get to speak. Now technology has taken over our time with our families, even for ourselves, you know. So these young mothers, they'll be saying, I give them a phone. And then also that's where they see other wrong things that are on the phones. You know, because there's also a lot of violence in the phones, right? You know, and it's very funny how our parenting would allow our children to watch but you don't want to watch them see people kissing. We don't want to see children seeing love, but we want them to see killing. That's so contradicting. So I think if we want to be the vanguards of our children, we need to begin with the little things that we do in our household. First of all, it's the language, right? That's not the way, right? We understand. And there are parents, there are some houses where you feel like, there's vulgar around. And then how do you expect the child to be a better child when you are providing not a safe space? You are actually creating, you know, and also the please and I used to bring my grandchildren. I have a lot of grandchildren. Some of them are very tall, and they say gogo. And one of my girlfriends complained, "Why you do me like gogo?" But I am a gogo, you know. And I would bring them into my space, and we talk about life. You would be surprised at the age of 14 and 16.
They know
a lot. But also because there is someone that listens to them, whatever they say, whether it's right or it's wrong, just listening, they really value you.
Absolutely.
So with me, I find that a lot of times parents don't communicate. They tell you. They don't want to understand how do you feel. So with my kids, I'll call them my kids, especially at school, I'd be that one teacher that the kids run for. Because
Exactly.
It's because I listen.
Taking a ball and kicking a ball with them is a big thing.
And one of the things I've learned with drama is role play.
Yes, yeah.
I like to do storytelling, even for my nieces and nephews when I get home at night. Mama, at home. And I don't know a lot of stories, although I've translated a lot of books. I make up my stories because I want to allow them to tell me their stories with role play.
Yes,
because now
it should be reciprocal.
Exactly.
But it's true because now they're telling it to me Maraga style, you know. So I find that black people, we need to get to a time where we communicate with kids.
You must also dance with them too.
They teach me how to dance. My niece every time, Mama, I'm dancing. I'm like, that's who I
play is right.
Exactly.
And then holding on to that, I think for me is my dream for all of us around this table, remaining childlike.
Exactly.
And remaining in that.
And you become accessible to children. Exactly.
And also they help you to heal also from your childhood trauma.
Yes.
Because once you play with them, you become the child also.
And another thing that I've observed, like within the families, like what I always tell my parents when we do parental counseling, I say, your house is your parliament.
Yes.
You are the chief justice in that house. But you must not use rule of, be hard. So what normally works, I tell them, okay, it's the beginning, it's December, you must have a plan for next year. It's only December, you must have a plan for next year. January, when everybody's doing resolutions, that's what I think can put the black families together. We start in the home. We have a family meeting. This year,
you make them have a say also in the running of the house.
What are we going to do this year? The first 3 months. Okay, everybody write on the little page. And then, okay, number one, what is the biggest rule for this year? In my house, doesn't change, it's respect. When you respect somebody, You don't hate them. When you respect somebody, you are very sensitive to them. Then okay, the second thing, we close them up. Then you tell what you want to do. Then after 3 months, we revisit that. So even before they knew how to write, like you were here in the meeting, make a cross tick. We confirm that you were here, you're part of this. So from there on, they know that even when I go out with my friends, we must have plans and they must come.
And you must also give them money to go and do shopping so that they can understand how much things cost.
Yes.
No, you must actually buy them a product to sell and make profit. Then they will go with it.
That's what I just wanted to sort of tie everything together in the sense that actually what the magic ingredient is in all the different interventions is connection.
Yes.
Staying connected to each other. Because that's often what's missing. The disconnection is what leads to, the vulnerability that children see, that leads to children going off the rails or children being abused without parents noticing. It's a connection. So the magic ingredient, no matter how you approach it, whether it's through dance or, movement therapy or play therapy or just learning the TikTok dances, it's the connection. That's the magic ingredient.
And that is about humanizing children and seeing them as fully human and worthy of all of their rights. And so to celebrate all of you around the table, I'm going to bring out some champagne and we're going to raise a glass to something.
So I'm raising my glass to all the children in South Africa and in the world who don't have a voice, to find their voice and know that one day it's going to be okay.
Inclusivity of our children who are different.
To safe spaces for all children and also for all the inner children of adults as well.
I'm raising my glass to our parents, our black parents.
Good enough parenting.
Yeah. Cheers, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us on the Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng show. And today, I hope you've enjoyed the guests that I've had as much as I did. Thank you for joining us. If you love this episode, share it with those that you care for. Like and subscribe and share your comments. Behold, it's a revolution. Yeah.